Okay, um, back for part two of our practice for chapter two. So I'm going to scroll on down. We just finished the formulas, and now we're doing number 6. There are times when you're going to want to do some color formatting, color fills, and it's important to use the color that the assignment wants us to do. So in this instance, we're going to apply this to these various ranges. So if I'm going to scooch this out for a second. So what we want is this range. So it's that total, the row for the total. And we want that to be tan, accent 3, and lighter 40%. So let me scooch that out. Back to Excel. In the font group, we have the paint can. And you'll notice there are two parts to it. And I'm just kind of like swinging between the two. The left part is just a can. And if I click that, what that did is it just made that yellow, whatever is the last color you used. If you click the down arrow, this will show you a palette of colors. So the top are the theme colors. So depending on what theme you use will dictate what these colors are. And if you change the theme, tan might become gold, or it might become pink. And then we have the standard colors. These will always appear no matter what your selection is. And there's always an option for no fill. So if I don't want any fill, I can do no fill. So what I want, they wanted, well, the assignment wanted tan accent 3. So if you just kind of hover over them, you'll see a little tooltip. There it is right there. Tan, my mouse pointer is kind of in the way, but it's tan accent 3, 60%, but I need lighter 40%. So I'm going to try going down one. There we go, right there. And then we just click on that. So now if I highlight the next set, all I need to do, I could go back here and find it again. There it is right there, so I'll just click it. But an easier way, once you've chosen that color, and you should be consistent with your colors, you don't want each of these to be a different color. Maybe if it's grouped by clothing, maybe clothing would be tan, and class supplies might be whatever other color was here, dark brown or something. But to be consistent, I can just click the left side of that icon, and that's just the last color. So remember the first time I did it was yellow. And this change, I think if I were to save this and exit and come back into Excel, it would go back to yellow as being the default. And then I'll just do the next one, make it tan. So using that left part of that button, that does save time when doing any sort of color choice. You'll notice that I have text color. We're not going to really be playing with that here, but I could change it by choosing the left side. It would make that red, and I could also go through and choose a set of colors. So a lot of times you will see that some of these buttons have multiple purposes. Like the border one here, I have the left side would just be a bottom border, and then if I click the down arrow, then I would get to choose all sorts of other types of borders. All right, so that was step 6. So now we want to do in number 7, we're going to create a title that is centered over the worksheet data. So over those 5 columns, A, B, C, D, E, yeah, 5 columns. But we're going to do center over as opposed to merging. I think we talked a little bit about merging. And then we also want to apply a title style, and I'll show you where that is. And then we want to fill it with that color. So 3 things. So I'm going to come up here. So Thunder City Bookstore, we want that to be centered across these 5 columns. So I'm going to start with A1, hold the mouse button down, and I'm going to go all the way over to E1. Now I want to have alignment. So if I come over here to the alignment palette, or group, I'm sorry, these would allow me to center it within its cell. So I'm going to choose the dialog box, or the dialog box launcher. If you don't have that, you can just right click this area and choose format cell. So either way would work. So dialog box launcher will bring you right to, oops, off the page, bring it back. So this is horizontal. So I'm going to go under horizontal. I'm going to choose center across selection. And what that will do is these cells are still independent. We have A1, B1, all the way through E1. And once I click OK, you'll see that it's centered across. Now, another part of this was to apply a style. And there is a style group, and I want to have cell styles. So I'm going to click on that. And I know some of it went off the edge here. And basically what this is going to do is these are styles. These are formats that are already created and that you can apply them relatively quickly. And so right over here, we have titles and headings. There is a title. And you can see that if I just kind of hover over it, let's say I go to input, see how it changes in the background. I can do bad, I can do headings, but I actually do want to have the title. So I'll click on that. And then if I bring over our instructions, so the first thing I wanted was to have it center across that cell range. Then I wanted to apply the style title, and now I want to use that same fill that we used before. So that is, notice it's still loaded in the paint can. So let me just click over here, and then I click that, and you'll see how it changes its color. Now I bring the instructions back. So now I want to do the same thing for A2 through E2. I want to center it across, but this time we're only going to apply the heading 2 style. So let me kick that out of the way. So I will highlight, select A2 to E2. And I'm just going to right click and choose Format Cells. And then if you need to, you remember the last formatting I did, generally it defaults to like font. So choose Alignment, the little Alignment tab. So these are nice ways of choosing your font and your border and a fill. So we're going to do Alignment. And under Horizontal, we're going to choose Center Across Selection. And then we'll say OK. And we do want to apply the heading 2 style. So I'll go up here to Color Styles. Cell Styles. And I have heading 2. And you can see that if I go to Title, I'm just hovering over it. It's the same font and the same size as the one above it. But notice that when I'm on heading 2, it gives me a bottom border. So with styles, you can affect anything really in that Format Cells dialog box. The alignment, you can set borders, colors, that kind of stuff. But you can always override it. I'm going to click on this. So let's say that, I like this, just like I did for that first column or first row. I wanted to have a background color, so I could provide a background color. If there already was a background color for the style, you can override it by saying, no, I don't want that color, I want this color. So you can always override them. All right, so let's bring the instructions back. So that was step 8. You may want to work through these on your own. Unfortunately, our textbook, I said in class, the practices are usually part of the chapter, but right now the exception is chapter 2. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to use that. So we want to know our average, we want to know maximum, and we want to know minimum of the quantity of the of our inventory. So we're going to go to B45. I'm going to slide that over. And in B45, oops, where are you going? There. We want to do the average price, actually. So we'll type an equal in another function, average. And you'll notice it appears here. So I will tab over. And then we want the range. And it said to use the range, and we could also include any blank cells. So we're going to start here at B6 and work our way down. This is just going to give us what our average price is. I misspoke when I said quantity. So we'll just highlight that. So a nice thing to remember is that range, which is B6, colon, I'm writing it down, B39. So that when we do any other function, the minimum function and the maximum function, we can just type that in, save us time. Now notice with the selection I used, it color codes it, but it's also including some blank cells. And that's okay because these functions, the average, the max, and the minimum, ignore blank cells. So you'll want to take that in consideration if you have data, but you don't have a data for a particular item. If you leave it blank, Excel is just going to skip it. It's not going to include it in the average. All right, so I'm going to hit enter. So our average price is $18.54. So now we're at the B46. We want to know what is the maximum price. So equal, and there's a function called max. And similar to the sum function, it has a range of cells for the arguments. And that was the B6 colon B39. Now you'll notice, let me close these parentheses, that I wrote everything in lowercase. Once I hit enter, everything will be made capital. So any cell referencing, any function name will be capitalized once you hit enter. So I'll hit enter. And then if I just click on that, you can see up here in the formula bar that it capitalized everything. So next one I do is equal min. And we're going to use the same range, B6 colon B39. The colon, think of that as kind of like the hyphen between things, but we use the colon. So the minimum price is 79 cents. All right, so at this point, we just finished number 9. I'm going to save this video and we'll start part 3 at step number 10.